Yeah.
And really, Mike and I have really created a nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I never met, I met Jim or even except from the neck up.
Yeah.
And you.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for showing up today to the Treasure Coast Advocacy Seniors Meeting and to the world out there. We'll talk a little bit about how the technology just went to the next level in our group this morning. We did all the testing yesterday. So with that, I just want to take a minute and talk about, us and some of the things that happened. So, we had a nice meeting last night. And Christine sort of headed that meeting up and she just kept that thing moving about 200 miles an hour. Well, she was definitely going over the speed limit, I know she was. But anyway, with that, what we're doing is setting up events so that we can pull money in to help our seniors. And a lot of work, a lot of volunteer work, a lot of people involved, companies involved. So it's really neat. Because of the assistance program that we have on our website, right? We've had a lot of people come in and ask for help. So a lot of seniors out there right now. I mean, a lot of their appliances are going down. They have issues. No water heater for 3 months. No washing machine. I mean, the list goes on. We're getting those things all the time. So Catherine and I, which is working today, is and one of those nasty words, working, right? We look at all that stuff and talk to the people. So, and it's unbelievable what we see out there. So even more important that we have every one of you share our information. Now with that sharing, one of the things that I can see when people share our stuff. So like our events, our meetings, everything that's going on. And, anybody remember that hair commercial where, they'll tell two friends, that'll tell two friends, that'll tell two friends, that'll tell two friends. And all of a sudden the TV has the same lady with the picture, right? It fills up the screen. And it really works like that. And you know that with the new technology. So if everybody could do that, like for instance, don't have to do it now, but before you leave, if you could share through Treasure Coast Advocacy Seniors Facebook, and you go on there and share that, and also let them know that you're here. And the more people see that. And we've had people come in today that doctors want to come in and they'll discuss that just for a second, that want to come in and now we'll speak here. So this is growing, okay, substantially. Considering what's going on out there today, it's really growing. Now, why do Mary and I do this? Oh, well, it ties everything that we do together. Mary and I, 100% of the time, when we talk to one of our clients, bring a package about this group. We bring a package, the flyers and everything. And we say, and they go, well, why do you do that? Well, our seniors need assistance. And what we do is, like this week, for instance, the lady says, they want to charge me $1,300 for this and $1,200 for that. And I don't know where I can get somebody to stain two of my cabinets because it got scratches all over them. And I go, Mary and I are going to do that for you. No charge. And they go, really? Why do you do that? And then we get into Treasure Coast Advocacy Seniors. Every single time. So it's important that we all do those kinds of things. Now, what I want to do, because we have something brand new today that we're doing, and it's the technological wizard, Alex, from the Techie Experts is here. He's going to talk about what we're actually doing today. Okay, which is really, really neat. So we've now gone high tech.
I'm proud to announce that this is the first meeting that we are live streaming on YouTube, and it is accessible to anyone in the community that wants to comment and be part of this meeting real time with us, or can watch the recording after the fact.
Well, what about
Well, okay, so a little bit about myself. My name is Alex Foreman. I'm Techie Expert, web design, and more. So as the name implies, I do web design, but I do much more than that. I do web design, graphic design, email, and back-end automation. I help you with your Google business profile and making sure everything is congruent and you can have a good I'm sorry, I should say, you have a number of, different elements that are all congruent across all of your platforms. So when your customers are looking and seeing your social media, your Google business profile, your Facebook, all of your, logos and graphics are congruent. Everyone recognizes your brand within a millisecond of seeing your logo, and it improves your online presence, and more people are able to reach out to you, and you have greater brand awareness. So if that's something you'd be interested in, check me out at techie.expert or give me a call.
Thank you, Alex. Now, Alex is doing all of this for us. Okay, we met yesterday to get all this stuff done again, and he's doing it gratis. Hasn't charged us a penny, doing all this as he says, he also cares about this and he wants to make sure this group grows. So, Catherine's not here to talk about the history. So very quickly, been around, what, almost 16 years, right? Christine, something like that. You can get a lot of that information right off our website. So, go to the website or share the link to the website, so on and so forth, and you can get that information, share it with your friends. And so we're gonna start off with the sponsor, and I gotta read his name because he's gonna tell you a little bit about his company. And it's Health at Home, okay? So, there we go. Carrie's coming up.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Like a lot of you, we've been involved in senior care for many, many years. And like I tell everybody, this is not my first rodeo. I'm with, the company I work with is called Health at Home. And there are a lot of home health agencies out there. How do you differentiate the difference? And the government does it for us. They have a star rating system.
You might have it down.
That's the government. Yeah, that was the IRS, I'm sorry. Well, all of us who've been involved in senior care, and especially those involved in both private duty and skilled nursing and home health, say we're the best. We have the best aides, we have the best nurses. Well, the government has a program called the star rating system. And what they do is they do two things. They survey every Medicare recipient who's had a home health episode in the previous 6 months. And they also look at the metrics of discharge. They look at length of stay, and the big thing that they look at is readmissions. We're proud to say that we are a 5-star agency. There are only 10% of the agencies in all of Florida that have that rating. So how do you differentiate? Now, we do a lot of clinical things that to make sure that our patients receive the highest quality care based upon their specific needs. And one of the things that we're involved in, I want Sean to come up a minute because he's working on a new program that's very, very exciting. Sean is, he's a physician's assistant, retired military. And he is a cardiac specialist, and he's created a new program. Just want to spend a few minutes and explain to him the group here what Sean does.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having us. Again, I'm Sean Bannister by training. I'm a physician assistant. I've been in VA for about 24 years. I trained in the Army. I retired in 2011. One thing I've done for a long time was heart and lung surgery for the past 18 years. And I wanted to find a way to take my superpowers outside of the hospital and into the home, because I see and deal with home health. I see and deal with skilled nursing. One of the big issues was recidivism, people coming back into the system. In the military, how we prevent and kind of dealt with recidivism, we send the experts out to the front lines. We're in Iraq, we send doctors and PAs to the front lines. So that's what we're trying to do at Health at Home, is sending PAs, practitioners to the front lines to kind of be that stopgap between the patient and the office, between the patient and the ER, and between the patient and the admission. So that's the primary focus, focusing on acute cardiothoracic surgery patients, as well as acute pulmonary and cardiac issues such as pneumonia, COPD exacerbations, acute pneumonia, things like that.
Yeah, if you look at the statistics on readmissions, COPD is the number one reason that patients are readmitted. Because they're sent home from the hospital and they're not prepared to live on their own until they have proper care. So I want to thank you guys for having us. Tom, it's a pleasure. We'll be a continued support of your organization.
All right, thank you. How about that breakfast, John? So, you know, a couple of you people in the back, so save me a bagel, will you? So, does anybody in here, and we'll go around and introduce everybody before we get to our fantastic speakers there, right? Okay, I'm excited about that, so it's coming. So, does anybody have people in, you know, aged people, you know, the elderly that don't understand their position, what's going on with themselves and all that? They don't recognize any of that stuff? Anybody have anybody like that? You see it? Yeah, you all see it, right? So that leads me to a joke. Okay, all right, I'll read it very quickly. So two guys haven't gone out and had any fun lately, so they went out and they're having a good time and ordered chicken wings and fried lobster tails and all that stuff. And one guy, because this correlates to these people we see every day that just don't understand the position they're in, they don't recognize it. So the one guy says to the other guy, he says, you know, look down at the end of the place. Do you realize that's what we're gonna be like in 20 years? We're gonna be just like that. Well, his buddy says to him, that's a mirror. Okay, so luckily we started on time, so I can go through the 2 hours of bio. Okay, I'll do the first paragraph. How's that?
That's good.
Okay. Okay. They had house from a venture by dementia educator and dementia practitioner serves as director of education training at Service Institute. Goals marked by commitment to improving dementia care through research and education. At Service, she leads initiatives to develop educational programs and materials for healthcare professionals and caregivers. So with that, okay, I'll cut it out because I should have read that whole thing. We are proud to announce our guest speaker today, Tara Heisen. Huh? Oh, wait a second. Is everybody ready to sing? It is her birthday today. Everybody ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay. So, once he's done, we're gonna go on and introduce everybody. No, come on over. You wanna sing again?
No, please don't.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, goodness. So as Tom sort of said, I'm Theta Heiserman, but thank you to Theta for singing to Theta, whoever that is. I am so used to it. If you have a name like that, aren't anybody else, you're used to it. So as Tom went over, I hate titles because I think they say a lot about who we are, but they don't say the core of what it is. So that second paragraph where I said it's better, I'm the daughter of a nurse who was geriatrics my whole life. I can't ever remember not being around someone with dementia. And I didn't know that it was my calling. People say, dementia, why did you choose that? I didn't choose it. Dementia chose me in that sense, but it's really a blessing in a lot of ways. So without further ado, and I know I talk fast if we save questions for the end, and I know we all have a day after this, right, to do a million things. So where it really is dementia is not my name, is the reason that we chose to title this presentation that is a lot of times we don't see the person for who they are anymore. We see them as someone with dementia. So really recognizing where people are, we have to bear with me. I got a new clicker and the buttons are backwards from the old one. So when we talk about, no, I'm gonna, and do I project enough for you guys?
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, it's terrible and I talk with my hands. So our brains are really remarkable. They make up about 2% of our entire body mass, but they use up to 20% of the oxygen that we take in. But have you ever heard the phrase, oh, we don't use all of our brain?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not true. We use all of our brain, but about 10% at a time. So we use different parts to do different things, whether that's to recall, language, any of those things. But the three brain theory, and now they're saying a fourth brain when we think about that, is our neocortex, so our brain that we think of, our enteric nervous system, and then our neurovascular system. And that means that experiences can change. And while this brain, maybe the abilities are dimming with someone with dementia, that just means that other things may be up. Do you ever get excited? If I have to multiply something by 7, thank you, Mrs. Mayfield, 3rd grade. My neurovascular system kicks in. Right now, all I did is think about 7 times 7 and my heart rate went up because I got smacked on the hand with the ruler so much for the 7's times table. And right now I could recite it, but I'd still be like, do you guys have those experiences? You see something wonderful or you smell like your favorite food. That's how those things are heightened when our brain, as we think of it, starts to diminish. And I know we hear a lot in the news right now about our gut is also one of our brains, right? What we eat, how we feed it, probiotics, prebiotics, our microbiome. But when we talk about neurosomatic and untargeted behaviors, we get reactions from people, not even purposefully, to smell the bagels. I have a gluten allergy. Don't think I didn't really get close, but close to that table and sniff those bagels because my gosh, and just that smell in my mind is, oh, I know how it tastes. I remember that flavor. It reminded me of going into a bagel shop and having it with cream cheese. Does anybody not drink coffee? We're gonna judge you, but my husband doesn't either. But, you know, even someone who doesn't drink coffee, the smell of coffee in the morning tells your brain, oh, it's time to get up. The smell of bacon. It says breakfast, right? So if you have a BLT for dinner, but their minds are thinking, oh, it's breakfast, it's morning. So add that to sundown, and how fun is that? So see, I didn't know that's fun. Let's talk about left brain, right brain behaviors. And I do interactive only because it helps us remember. Do I have any lefties in the room? Perfect. Okay, I want everybody to take your right hand and put it up here by your head. You're gonna go rhythm and blues, rhythm and blues, rhythm and blues. Come on, can you? If I have to be on camera, you're good. So the right side of our brain is the one we think of it as the artistic, the emotion, the rhythm and blues. Now that left side, put it up there. Taxes. Come on.
Yeah.
Taxes. That doesn't mean, but our left side is the one that is more symbols, that we're thinking about analytics, the reports, the numbers, how do we, and analyzing things very systematically. So that makes a difference on whether we're right, what side is our dominant side. And so it's really interesting, and I won't go into all of that in highlights, but when we think about that, so you're right brained or left brained, well, would you say that you follow that model to that? And a lot of us do, but it's not a guarantee, but guess what? You know someone's dominant side and kind of how that correlates with their brain when they have dementia. You can find ways to appeal to them, to get them to do things, whether it's ADLs or whatever it may be. And I won't go a lot further in depth with that, but neurotransmitters, and they'll know some of the neurotransmitters. So chemicals that allow the transmission of signals in our brain, right? And without getting the motor neurons that sends the signals, I always make a joke, and then I always know they don't know if they look at me with that blank stare. But I say synapses are connecting, give them a moment, because that's where it is. But they stimulate those muscle fibers and they tell us what to do. And they produce glands like in your pituitary gland, your adrenal glands. So where you're sweating, like right now, menopause is making my and my adrenal glands are going because you're making me nervous. But there's all of these things. So some of the neurotransmitters begin to break down. They don't have the same communication in someone with dementia. So they might not have those same reactions and they don't connect. Did you ever, someone say something to you, and you said, huh, and then you answer them? Because you were taking that moment to process. That's the same as someone with dementia. They may say, or they don't answer you. That delay isn't because they didn't hear you. It's because they're processing. What do we tend to do when someone says, huh, or what?
Again.
How do we repeat it? A little bit louder. Like you didn't say it loud enough the first time. Or like, whoa, because sometimes it can be hearing impairment, but a lot of times it's just they were processing. So that's another thing. If you repeat at same level and they're still processing, you've given them a little bit of time to process. But that's something we tend to not always do. Listen to me. Dementia, most of us have seen this. Dementia is not a disease. Dementia is a classification of signs and symptoms. Think of it as the umbrella, and here as we highlight it. Then that's your umbrella, Alzheimer's disease, then vascular, Lewy body, and frontal temporal. Alzheimer's disease is the most prevalent. So a lot of times when people talk to me, they'll hear me say, and I say, oh, I volunteer, or I educate, or I do things for the Alzheimer's Association. But when you see things I write, I say Alzheimer's and other dementias, because it's advocating, it's not, people think they're two separate things. They're not. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. On that note, does anybody know how many types of dementia there are? Over 100. It drills down and it's mind blowing. And add this. There can be mixed dementia. They all present differently. Someone earlier said they had a loved one that had Lewy body dementia. Presents very differently than someone with Alzheimer's dementia. Vascular dementia is this, because it's their vascular system. You may think they're starting to decline, and 3 days later, they're amazing. And then talking about, this one makes me, I'm having, man, you think it was my birthday and I was teary, Tom, I'm telling you. At this time, it's estimated, at this time, we estimate that around 50 million people worldwide are living with dementia. After running around that for a minute. Alzheimer's is the most common, 60 to 70% of dementias, but it's estimated that there are over 100, so I was giving you to keep the quote up here. But in addition to neurodegenerative conditions, there are reversible and curable types of dementia. Did you know that? And that, so it's caused by treatable underlying factors, and we'll touch base, and like medication side effects, depression, vitamin deficiencies, sometimes thyroid disorders, metabolic conditions, any of those. So some of the things, and if that slide's not in here, I'll come back to it. But think about alcohol-related dementia. Sometimes when someone that alcohol, and I'm going to look at this room and say, for those of you, I'm thinking none of us are, well, one of us might still be in our 20s, but at some point during your younger years, not now because we're very responsible, did you ever drink so much you didn't remember? We had alcohol-related dementia. We didn't refer to it as that, but it was alcohol induced. So early signs of dementia are poor judgment and decision making. I mean, we've all made a bad decision occasionally. That's not saying that it's constant. The inability to manage a budget. We all miss a payment. Well, not all, but not those left brain people. But we all might miss a payment or forgotten, oh, I need to call and do that. But that's not all of your budget. Or at one point early in his diagnosis, my dad paid the electric bill 4 times. And my mom's like, what is he doing? Losing track of the date or season, but you'll remember. But not forgetting which day it is, completely versus just forgetting what day it is. Difficulty having a conversation. It's okay that we sometimes forget a word. We do that. But the inability to have a conversation, it's not based, people like, oh, I can't remember names. My husband can't remember anybody's name. I have to describe. Oh, she was in the front row in the beautiful turquoise sweater. We'd be like, oh, okay. But other, he knows who it is, but if you say a name, he's like, who? And then misplacing things, but they're unable to retrace their steps, men. And I say this because we all might misplace. Do you ever misplace your glasses and they were on your head? Or your phone, but you're talking on it. Those things happen. I know. But that's time to time. That's not a constant. A lot of us, I call it the 1, 2, 3 system, but men, it's a lot of times keys, wallet, right, glasses. And so it's what are those 3 things? Or in my case, I do keys, wallet, name tag before I go into a building. Do I have those 3 things? And it's our count. And that's normal for us, but to misplace things that they're totally unable to retrace their steps is something entirely different. So here we are with non-reversibles versus reversibles, where we talked about delirium, maybe medication side effects, depending. Vitamin B12 deficiencies are huge and people don't realize that. Chronic alcoholism, we touched base on tumors, infections, and where we could see that really exacerbated, not what we're talking about here, but we all know or have known someone on their dementia journey. What happens when they get a UTI? Whew, makes them crazy, not themselves, they're a very different person. Well, those things can still happen to us, just we don't see those results outwardly the same way. But and severe infections, just problems with your thyroid, your kidney, your liver. But those things, when they're turned around, the dementia disappears. You don't see that anymore. So what this talks about, I'm just going to really quickly touch on the 3 assessments because I knew that we'd have some professionals in the building. Does anyone do memory screenings now? So the MOCA is the Montreal Cognitive Assessment. It's pretty popular. It's a screening for older adults. I'll leave it at that. It's not always my favorite one. And here's the thing. I don't ever stay up really late, but there's slides out of order, but we're gonna go. So we'll talk about 7 stages of it, and then we'll come back to those. So we know there's 7 stages of development. Early stages of dementia. Can you tell someone has dementia? You can't. You can mask in those early stages of cognitive decline, and then into those early stages, maybe mild, people mask it a lot. We're in an area where families, a lot of times children are out of state, right? And they call, it's really easy to put on your formal face. And you're, oh, everything's good. Yes, they may recognize the voice. Children will say where mom is, maybe they are dealing with dad's dementia on a daily basis and trying to pour from an empty cup. But the kids in Connecticut are saying, that sounds fine. He's fine. I've seen, and it's amazing because just for short periods of time, that normalcy they can present with. Even someone who he went to the cardiologist is saying to him, I don't know that the neurologist is right. Paul seems totally normal. He's great. Until Paul said, hey doctor, remember when you worked on the 12 ventricles in my heart? And the cardiologist kind of like, oh. So people can present that way and people wouldn't even realize until you talk to them a little further, the details have changed, but you wouldn't know otherwise. Then as you get into those middle stages, and some of the English things I'd like to share, early stages of dementia, people can drop 1 out of every 4 words that is spoken to them. Okay, so if I said, I love you, Mary, she may be here, I love you, and she's like, okay, great. Or she may hear, you, Mary. But in middle stages, when we get to those middle stages, and really it is not until later middle stages when many of us in senior living get to see people where they start to consider putting them in memory care or in a memory care community. So you have to consider that. But in middle stages, people will drop 2 to 3 out of every 4 words said to them. So if I said, I love you, Mary, she may hear, you, Mary. huh? Or loving, okay. So thinking about that, that's really huge. And unfortunately, late stages, there's no studies that can tell us completely what they comprehend and how that works. This is the GDS model. Again, if you've had in the global deterioration scale, and I'll leave it on my laptop if anyone wants to use the QR codes after. But that's the GPS to see some of it. This is the MoCA, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Tool. Here's the thing, really great at the end, you draw the clock, we've all done this. Someone in their early middle stages, so he took his copy of his MoCA and he studied it. Do you think he improved the next time he took it? Totally. And then he had to take it again. He improved over his previous score. Why? Because people with dementia can still continue to learn. It's what they choose to learn and where they are in the journey, or what we give them the ability to learn. So he studied that to know what those 3 words were that they were going to ask. Because we asked that, I see you laughing because it is. And I always laugh because if right now I said, I want you to remember red carpet pickup. Everybody got that red carpet pickup? Okay. And then how to use, so going over those and you want to know how to use those, but they really, I mean, there's a lot of, and I need to change this slide, but I didn't yet because I'm trying to pick the verbiage. But originally there were no drugs that cure Alzheimer's disease or related dementia. They only mask their symptoms, which is great for a while. But then what happens when those stop working, and we know some of that, but over medicating someone with memory impairment can cause a secondary form of dementia called delirium. And we've seen that because, oh, they have behaviors. What are some words they use in lieu of behaviors? They're combative. They're non-compliant. Well, tell me if 5 people came at me telling me to do something, but I can't understand them. Mary, how would you feel? Get away from me, leave me alone. So, and then what happens when we see the words combative, non-compliant? Is it a stigma? All the time. Not Christine, she's combative and not compliant. What happens the next time? And that's on her file and it goes forward to the next meeting and it's a social network and so, oh, she's combative and non-compliant. Or we need to medicate her. So those are things we have to be mindful of as professionals as well and advocate if those are the words that are being used. Where I said the new developments in diagnosis and in therapy, 2023 was a huge year in Alzheimer's research. And there's mixed reviews about those drugs. And that's why I hesitated because I haven't found the words to them. But if you catch people in the early stages of their Alzheimer's journey and they receive those drugs, then some signs show, and it's not for every person, that it can slow down the disease. That's huge. So it is not a cure. I mean, man, is that a start? And who would have thought in our lifetime, if you asked us 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and guess what? It finally got covered by CMS. Oh, you know, because what happens with that, it's huge. And that opens the door for continued test trials, because let's get there. And you know, I used to say, like, I know some people, some fabulous people on their journey who had said, I hope it's in my lifetime we get a cure. And now what she says is, I hope it's in your lifetime we get a cure. Gosh, I hope so too. But if nothing else, I hope it's in the lifetime of our children or for our grandchildren. Because man, how many years did it take us to get here? And that's a really big deal. So when we advocate for that stuff, all of us, it affects us all in some way. I'm a little bit passionate about that, can you tell? But also treatment hygiene. What I'll show here are in some of our communities, but all of this, where it affects us is if we go into people's homes, these are some things that can happen. In our own homes, if we know someone with dementia, how can we change this stuff? So the first thing I mentioned it before, the person before the disease. Okay. Do you want to, you get to mention your age? You want to be recognized for, sorry, do you want to be recognized for your work in medicine? And as a veteran?
80?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like,
Oh,
recognized, yeah.
Would you wouldn't want to be, that old. He just said, oh, Mr. Smith, he wants him putting into medical science. We want to recognize, we want to thank him for his service and sacrifice. We want to say, tell us about cardiovascular disease. Tell us about, because he may not be able to tell us everything with the clarity he shared up here, but he'll be able to share it, give it meaning and purpose. What gives us, you know what? I'm going to ask Tom at some point in 40 years, Tom, 40. I'm going to ask him, Tom, I was thinking about selling my house. What should I look for in a realtor? And he might be able to tell me, hey, well, he may tell me, I'll sell it for you. But he might be able, he can tell me things to look for in a realtor. What are some things I need to prepare for? So it's just pulling that out of there and who they are, because each dimension, it's a diverse and complex nature of the disease is different. So just like each of us is so different right now, the disease is different for every person on their journey, but we can still find those common grounds. So 5 things that can affect our brain. Genetics. You know, we know genetics can play a part in shaping our personalities. Whether, again, sometimes if you're extroverted, introverted, emotional stability, conscientiousness. What about the environment? Does it play a part? If it were 85 degrees in here, would it be different than right now? If I were talking to you like this about dementia, totally there. You'd be super excited. Life experiences. So that can be not only significant events. Anybody speak more than one language? Anybody speak more than 2 languages? 8? How many? 3. Fluently. So there may be 3 others in there. So we're going to come back to you. Thinking about life experiences, how we respond to those experiences, but also traumas. Because when we don't share all of our traumas now. But when someone has dementia and they get there, they're affecting them. Sometimes they can't even share what those traumas are. But maybe having someone assist them with ADLs, with bathing, with, you know, just having that personal space or how being touched could be a trauma response, right? That it can be something small. Maybe a smell, a scent can cause trauma. And that sounds funny to us, but we have to realize, I'm going to admit it now, you're making me admit it to the world. I loathe the smell of lavender. What's lavender supposed to do for you? Help you relax. I talk about it all the time. When we do lavender aromatherapy, probably, you know, give someone a hand massage with lavender. When I am on my dementia journey and if I can no longer speak and they give me a hand massage with lavender, I'm just going to be mad. Or give me massage oil with lavender oil behind my ears. And why did she combative and non-compliant? Because you're making me smell lavender. But so it's little things like that, those are life experiences. What about cultural backgrounds? Does it change it? It impacts our values. It impacts our norms, what are behaviors. And when we think about that, each of us may have something different. And even parenting styles. That sounds funny, but if a person, how they were raised can have a long-standing impact on how they react on their personality. They can influence your self-esteem, right? They can independence, a ton of personality traits. Most of us have heard about the 5 love languages, right? Or the five love languages or the 5 languages in the workplace. So I use that because if you have authoritative parents and they were really just, it's all about rules, and then say, okay, go, you know, do whatever you want. To someone dementia, they kind of don't know how to react. But if you tell them, Mary, You need to take a shower now, and then we're going to the doctor's appointment, and then you're going to sing. That flashback of, she sounds like my mother, I can't stand that. Because that was, do we want autonomy and independence? Yeah. You want some say in what's going on. That doesn't change when you get dementia. Someone recently, a care partner said, well, he's very compliant. He's never upset. And I said to her, do you think he doesn't swear at you in his head? And she's like, oh, good point. Those are things, because when you think about that, some of us are very professional. Our demeanor is where I know my message is the same, whether I wore a suit and heels and shoulder pads, for argument, and my shoulder pads, or I wore my ruby slippers. You know, the message is the same, but how we deliver it and how we react to it is different. Emotions play a huge part in the learning process, and how positive emotions, think about resilience, laughing in here. When you laugh, we release endorphins. It makes us happy. Tom, I'm gonna need you to laugh at my please. Thank you. But it also, it feeds our desire to explore. Intellectual growth is so important for each of us. And it gives us the ability, fosters problem solving skills. I mean, there's so much, like, how do we do that and move forward and have personal growth? This is really just the stages of grief. And we kind of, when someone's diagnosed, and this is whether it's the care partner or the person on their dementia journey, it's very general because it's for a lot of things, isn't it? First, you're shocked, you're in denial, this can't be happening. No, it's just normal aging, it's fine. It's anger. Why is this happening to us? We had planned the most amazing life going forward. We have a cruise, we are going, you know, all of these things. Bargaining and guilt. Oh God, please. If you just take this away, I will be a better wife. I will be a better mother. Oh, I thought it was me that time too. I was like,
It's not the other.
it's not. It's not Mary, but she's right there. It's Catherine. And when depression, you see that when people have a diagnosis, they can be depressed. And that's normal. And then acceptance. So I'm going to give you, and I'll talk a little faster on this stuff, but in neurotypical individuals, that's us, we're hopefully neurotypical. The carrot theory, 21 days to get the break habit. New Year's Day, you ever say, I'm gonna go to the gym every day, I'm gonna eat better, exercise, do all that stuff. And on day 7 or day 14, you stop doing it. That's because it takes us an average of 21 days to make a break habit. Someone with dementia, the average is 35. That means that people can be 14. Some people are gonna be 70. But if you see that, that's even when someone's, so you're getting them back into the habit of take a shower, whatever that is. Repetitive learning is huge. I don't know how many of you have children, you ever watch the same videos over and over and over and over. Guess what? Repetition works. So the Maslow's pyramidal hierarchy of needs, I'll skip that part for right now. Here's where we're going to say that habilitative retrogenesis versus the changing of personality. What it is the reverse. First thing a baby can do is hold on to a paper, right? And how those things move forward. What language did you learn first?
I think I learned two languages first, Creole and French.
Okay, and then English.
Thank you.
So as she ages, some of the things, she will lose English first. She'll revert to Creole and French. And then she may start to speak a mix of. What was the first language you learned?
I learned French and Spanish.
So, man, they're throwing it off. But if she learned English or Spanish first and then English, it's the reverse of what you can do. Think of it in the ability of a baby that can crawl, then they can pull themselves up, then they can maybe walk. Well, that's the same if you look at someone ages, they become, you know, they can use a walker, then maybe a wheelchair, and then they're no longer able to navigate. Am I in trouble? No. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about emotional textures. Is anyone wearing anything uncomfortable today? Do you ever wear a wool sweater or some really terrible shoes? Or how about a tie? And your toes too tight, or the pants are too tight? We've been there, heels, ladies, because we thought we'd be cuter. And it gives a good leg line, but man, they hurt too. Even textures play a role, and we don't always realize that. Colors play a role. That's the exact same room. The difference if it were more vibrant, the red, the orange, the green, colors play an important part of what we do. Having contrast because of the age, we have darkening eyesight. People with dementia have a lot of struggle with loss of peripheral vision. If you give change of color, it's depth perception. If that were all white, we would be in trouble. And I'll get to white in a minute. The last color that people see is the color green, particularly lime green. So in our communities, the care partners, the caregivers, the CNAs wear green. The engagement staff wears blue because blue is seen as an engaging color. If you go back to that green, if people reading green writing and Joshua Freitas trademarked some of these, or it has copyright on them, but some of these books in green, and then I've just recreated. Green, this blows my mind. Green print increases the ability to read 33% with someone with dementia. Someone who has aphasia, hardly speaking, has trouble communicating, put a book in front of her, she read the whole thing. Maybe not with each word being perfect, but she read, she spoke, she used those muscles. So sometimes if it's something you want them to read and it's in black and white, put it in green, see what it does, see if it makes a change. We'll go all the way into color and dining, but if you know anyone with dementia that has trouble eating or struggles they don't really want to eat, the color red in red dinnerware, don't go out, I'm going to tell you the next part, encourages people to eat and the contrast on the plate. Dark blue decreases people's appetite. Don't go buy dark meats fiesta wear because it's not going to work for all of us. It's people with dementia. When we talk about dignified dining, we see people with trouble with utensils or even just the muscle memory to get from here to there. Muffin meals. If you look it up online, there are a million muffin meals, not just for breakfast. You can use flour, you could use mix, biscuit mix, any of that. So I want to get to etymology. That's a big. There's the color white. So have a white toilet and white sheets and a white top sheet and a white comforter. It's very crisp and clean to us, right? You think they can see the change in those sheets? Buy 2 sets of sheets, put one top sheet of one set and the bottom sheet of the other, so they can see the difference where the sheet is. Black, especially for someone with Lewy body dementia, from the knee down can be seen as frightening. You put a black floor mat in front of a door if you don't want them to elope, especially, and they will see it as a whole and not cross it. And there's some examples of that. But here's where I wanted to talk about etymology. It's the use of words. And we've all used words we probably shouldn't. And sometimes we use the word that we know is familiar to, not the potty mouth ones. Not those. Okay, did you ever have, so someone, oh, we're gonna get a new person. Yeah, they're a feeder. And for the first couple weeks, they're gonna have a sitter. Oh, and she's gonna need her diaper changed all the time. Versus, I can use the same tone and I can say, oh, they need assistance with eating. And yeah, she's gonna need she has a private caregiver for the first couple of weeks. And oh, and she's gonna need assistance. She needs her brief changed frequently. Hear the difference in the words? Same thing. Yeah. Same thing. Same message. Different tone. Or different, just it gives us a different feeling. The words we use can change how people feel and how people react and give dignity. So am I the short, I use this as a description, how residents looking for me. I said, what'd she say? The short chubby lady with the dark hair. And she said, no, the short lady that always has fun with us. wow, doesn't that change how we describe things and how we go? So living with dementia, not suffering. You'll hear me a lot of times if we ever talk at length, their dementia journey, because it's a journey. But it's not, oh, they're demented. Hate that word. So environmental things, we talked about the rugs in front of the door, here's triggers. And we don't live up north, thankfully, but it snows, you put your coat on, what does that say? I'm leaving. You have your car keys out, you see a suitcase. Suitcases are a huge trigger, so if you move someone or you work in a community, have families take the suitcase. What does the suitcase say to you? I'm the bad, I'm leaving here, I'm out of here. So have them take the suitcase, that doesn't say that, the car keys. You know when the biggest time for agitation is? Shift change. Doesn't even have to be the afternoon. You know why? Everybody say, bye, see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. Instead, quietly, because that's going to cause agitation. That's going to be in their mind. Sometimes it's, oh, they need to go too. So that can be really important. Behavior tracking is teaching your staff or yourself to find this works well in the home. What is happening around us when he gets agitated? Is there music playing in the background where we've got the 50th hour of Chuck Norris or Westerns and the Indians are yelling back there and the guns are going off and I'm trying to talk to him and he's not listening? Did 5 people come to you, Mary, and all of a sudden? So behavior tracking is huge. Let's get ready because that's or for sundowning. Does everybody know what sundowning is? Because I hear a lot of times, oh, they have sundowners. No, they're sundowning, but your brain is just sending the wrong signals or those chemicals aren't being released. That's where things that when we talk about scents play a role. Smell of coffee in the morning, aromatherapy, that peppermint picks us up. Not lavender for me, I'll take eucalyptus, but to relax and bring that down, pine or cedar. So in closing, what I would give each of you is the challenge to take one thing from this and educate someone else, and to take one thing and implement it into your daily life or the life of someone on their dementia journey. Because I think that's so important. And then if you want the 2 hours, I will have them. I talked to some of you. So this is just, I forgot about the live podcast. But the QR for anyone in this room, I'll give you that QR. And it is for 8 hours. We're going to waive the fee. It's $150 training typically for the night training. And it's 8 hours online at your leisure. If you can take that night training for NIDA, the National Institute of Dementia Education. All right, Tom, I'm done.
Okay, we have a raffle. Before they do that, I just want to go on quickly and have everybody introduce yourself. Again, this is live and it's going to be shared on our site so that you can also share this with anybody that you want to share it. Okay, so let's start right here.
Mary Scott and Hello Lady. I'm Tamara Barnett. I'm with Bank First Life. I'm a full comprehensive retirement planner. I help people with life insurance, Medicare, long-term care, stable health plans, also have financial planning for retirement income. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane. I'm a certified care manager in the Stewart, Port St. Lucie area, and I had my own business to manage my care LLC. So, you know, anybody that needs a care manager,
Good morning, Dana Foreman, fingerprinting with care, live scan fingerprinting, all your ACA background checks, fingerprinting without the mugshot.
Okay. I'm Lori Connell and I'm a senior worker with passive and staffing. I did take care of my mother with dementia. And I love to learn more about this. So we started pharmacy tech for CBS.
Hi, Robert Hilton, right at home storage, home care services. This item of office manager. Let's say it's great to be here. The information gathered. It's great to hear. Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline, I'm a community specialist social worker with Florida.
I am Bree Wild, I'm in Valley South and Stewart, hospitality house for families and patients to come stay with us, in an affordable and wonderful environment.
Hey, I'm Mary Adams with Alto Stewart. Used to be Stewart Lodge. We're an assisted living memory care community. We have been newly renovated and I would like to invite you all to stop by sometime and take a look. We are a great place for your senior loved one to live.
Go ahead.
Again, Sean Bannister, physician assistant with Health at Home, 5-star home health company, everything from private duty, home health assistant, all the way to skilled nursing care.
I'm Jerry, not a ditto, George Hoff, I'm a elder law attorney, proactive legal care board member.
I'm Jennifer Ross with the Council on Aging in St. Lucie, also board member.
Steve Hebert, Performance Chiropractic and Stewardess Centers of America. We do a lot of treatments for seniors. We have some treatments that other chiros or clinics don't do. So if anybody'd like to come take a tour of the clinic, I give free tours.
Alex, what about you?
My name is Alex Foreman, with Techie Expert Web Design and more. I do web design, graphic design, email and backend automation, pretty much any of your tech needs. If you want to improve your online presence and drive more customers to your business, give me a call.
And where are they gonna be able to see all this?
They're going to be able to see this live stream available on YouTube. And that YouTube link is going to be available on the website, on Facebook. You can share it with your friends. I believe this content was excellent. I really enjoyed your presentation. And more people should definitely join this group. It's an excellent group of amazing members. We have amazing presenters and Tom runs an excellent show. So what can I say? More people should join.
And a corporate membership is $8.68 a month.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is the time where we pick a name and then you get to sing your favorite song. One person, I guess, no? Is everybody with that? Okay, well, it does remind me of one of my favorite songs, and I get excited when I hear it, and it's by Rod Stewart. So it sort of talks a little bit about our meeting today. Anybody remember the song Forever Young? Pretty neat, huh? Great song. Okay, so find out now. You gave the prize today, right?
I did.
Okay, so we have extra cups, so we can share this. No, we can't do that, okay. So. You're gonna pick?
It is right at home. Is it? Iris.
So I-
Even for Theodosha, ma'am, I did.
There you go. Yeah, Tom Scott, I want to thank you for coming for our meeting today, and everybody get a lot of information today. You thought it was useful? Fantastic, huh?
Take some food.
Okay, maybe some goodies. Okay, let's have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
I did my share already.
Sure, either. I don't even. Yeah.